This episode is made possible by the generous support of my patrons at patreon.com/SayGoodnightKev and by viewers like you. Thanks! What's up, you guys? I'm Kevin. Grab your popcorn, because it's time for another movie night. In 2006, there was a controversy at the Oscars as the film Crash took home Best Picture. A film that attempted to address many racial stereotypes and misconceptions that seem to plague modern-day America and cause ongoing tension. Despite seeming to be a well-meaning film, many people felt like it was the safe route. Some people even say that this was the worst film to ever win Best Picture. Now, I saw it, and it was all right. I mean, certainly not Best Picture Oscar winner, but it was a pretty good film. I mean, it was well acted, had a nice storyline, everything seemed to come together nicely in the end. It even had some really good actors. Now, some of the problems with it were that it was a little too preachy with its message. It felt like it tried hard to feel more important than it was. It had too many characters, plot lines, contrived situations for the sake of making a point, even though it seemed very heartfelt with that message. In the end, it just left you feeling kind of frustrated with constant miscommunication with the characters. And to add to that, the way it wrapped up all of these characters was just a little too tidy. But why am I talking about the film Crash? Well, it seems like the people over at PureFlix really liked this movie. Unfortunately, the lesson they got out of the film wasn't, hey, let's be careful about perpetuating racial stereotypes. Nah, they just found the formula to making quick and easy Christian films. This isn't the first time that I've mentioned the film Crash. If you check out my God's Not Dead review, you can do that now, or you could wait till you watch this. In there, I say, hey, this must be the Christian version of Crash. I take that back, because tonight we're gonna watch PureFlix's latest installment. So grab your popcorn and let's jump right into it. This is my review of Do You Believe? Gee, I hope this one isn't a dirty oh good, it's a PureFlix. I went ahead and did some extensive research on the history and context of the Book of James, plus I read through the Book of James in order to read this verse in context. This verse is not actually being used out of context. So, good job, movie.
I often wonder...
Oh, and they had to ruin it with voiceover. You know, for a split second there, I almost gave you the benefit of the doubt. So the movie begins with some of the best stock footage that video blocks can provide, as our main character gives a pensive Batman-style monologue about all the individuals that are running around the city. That's right, every single person in Chicago is a main character in this movie. Okay, maybe not that many, but almost.
I often wonder why it is we're drawn to things.
I know. Pretty vague.
Take this city, for example.
Not literally, of course.
There are 10 million people here.
I counted.
10 million souls.
20 million if you count their shoes.
Each one of them searching for meaning.
Achoo!
In their lives.
Oh, thanks.
But how many actually find it?
3, 4, 11?
See that cross?
Kinda.
Countless people pass underneath it every day. What does it mean to them? This is the story of 12 souls.
See? 12. This should be fun.
12 souls who are about to find out.
He's about to find out that being a stapler is harder than it looks.
Who will intersect at the cross.
Whoa, 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 spoiler alert. Geez, you literally just ruined the entire climax of the film. We then cut to this ambulance transporting a patient, because all of these movies have to feature a rescue worker.
Come on, girl, breathe.
Telling your patient to breathe cliche. Ding!
She's breathing on her own.
Got it.
Because I told her to breathe.
Okay, eating Chinese takeout with
Oh,
a severe food
Sam.
allergy. I'm gonna go with suicidal for 1,000, Alex.
Ah, yeah, see, we know he's a jerk now because he made a Jeopardy reference.
They had trouble maintaining their airway.
That is why they call it severe anaphylaxis.
Ah, I always wondered.
Thing she couldn't care less whether we save her or not.
How? Man, Samwise has gotten meaner with age, and taller too.
You have another theory, a better theory you'd like to propose, nurse?
Nah, I'm dumb.
I want a stat chest x-ray and a round of labs.
Stat!
How's she doing?
Should be fine.
Yeah, well, she's lucky someone called 911 when they did.
And we're lucky we're getting so much exposition.
You're the one always saying we need extra money.
No, I'm the one saying we need to spend less so we don't need the extra money.
Oh, must have been my other boyfriend.
Can you check and see whether maybe she's been skipped over on the list?
She's in the system.
What's going on right now?
Wait, she's in the system. She hasn't been skipped over. I mean,
Are you sure you're okay?
you heard the doctor.
Is she hearing other people's thoughts?
Whoa, lighten up with that aftershave. Monsieur, I need to poo-poo.
Till the good Lord decides it's time for me to go, there's nothing gonna kill me.
Oh my gosh, I guess we should have started playing Spot the Christian earlier. How many characters are there? 12? Jeez, we got a long way to go. Oh, he must be sick. People only cough in movies whenever they're sick or they're trying to comedically tell somebody something in secret. It's cliche. So now we're introduced to this old guy and this little girl who are sitting in the waiting room of the hospital.
It's a nice butterfly.
It's a squirrel.
Do those wash off?
Afraid not.
They're there every day to remind me and the audience that I have a past.
What's your name?
Lily.
It's a beautiful name.
It's different.
Different? That's pretty standard.
My name is Joe.
Whoa, what a weird name!
I believe I'm a good speller.
I believe you're correct.
Do you believe? Then the mom comes over and puts the kibosh on this conversation.
Lily, what are you doing?
Understandably so, I would say.
It wasn't her fault.
I just can't even get somebody to even take a look at her.
Meanwhile, the pastor is picking up this old couple from the hospital.
Still thinks he's 17.
Yeah, and whereas she's convinced I'm 117.
117? Is that an 11-7 reference?
We've lost enough already, and I'm not ready to lose you too.
She said to the audience.
I don't want
Pureflix, the company that confuses bumper stickers with character development. Then the guy kindly gives the little girl his place in line at the emergency room.
Will you give Lily my spot?
Please, Zach Galifianakis.
Whatever. Hey, Gina, can you take that little girl over there into room 3, please?
Whatever.
Sure.
Achoo.
Bless you.
Oh, thanks. Cut back to the pastor driving the old people home when the pastor sees this. Guess he sees in slow motion. Meh. I'm already doing something nice. Okay, so I can finally catch us up on what's happening, I think. This pastor took this old couple home from the hospital, and then on his way home, he runs into this older gentleman, where we have what the movie seems to want to believe, based on the soundtrack, is the most important part of the film. This is essentially the write God's not dead and sign it on a piece of paper moment in the film.
We believe in the cross of Christ's son.
I'm a pastor.
So my salvation lies in Christ alone, not a physical object.
I asked you if you believe in the cross of Christ.
And if you believe, what are you gonna do about it?
Once he's finished making this statement, he is interrupted, kind of, but he was done talking anyway, by these unfortunate stereotypes. Who gives the pastor the chance to see what it means to really believe in something?
I'm ready. Are you? I'm going to pray for you. You do that.
I mean, it is very inspirational to think about how you would act if somebody put a gun to your head and asked you if you were ready to die, but it's just a movie. Either way, this incident inspires the pastor to go pick up that pregnant black girl who was digging trash out of the trash can. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make light of sad situations, but this movie really tries hard to create sad situations, which kind of makes the act of kindness seem a little less generous. I mean, look, if this movie convicts you to not be the worst person in the world, I guess maybe it's done some good.
Is there anything you need?
What are you, some kind of freak?
Yeah, I'm a freak, a Jesus freak. Then back over to Straight Outta Compton. That was wrong, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Pretty Boy is feeling pretty conflicted. No, that's his name in the movie is Pretty Boy, I'm not. He's feeling convicted about Jesus.
Man, he was ready to die, yo. And what if he's right?
Hey, that's funny, dog.
Once we get that message across, we jump over to this guy, standing on a bridge. Oh, dark. Is he listening to Adventures in Odyssey's Sergeant York? So the pastor brings the girl home, leaves her in the car, and apparently his wife does not want her around. Look, this is kind of something that you sign up for whenever you become a pastor. If you're not helping people out, what are you doing? So he puts her up in a cheap motel. What a jerk.
Take care of yourself.
You're gonna need it. See, they knew I was gonna call him out on the bad continuity of digital clocks. Let's not give Kevin any fuel for the fire. Then we jump back to that movie that has Lily at the hospital, and she has since been helped out.
How is she?
I'm feeling better already.
The shelter's closed. No, we have a car, we're good.
I mean, she needs to stay warm, doesn't she?
Yeah?
Is she trying to trick him? Seriously, in any other movie, this is like the type of dialogue that usually happens whenever like somebody is trying to trick somebody else out of something. Like that movie Curly Sue with the girl from the Pepsi commercials.
Got someplace else to stay.
That's a very considered offer, but I'm
It's
afraid
okay,
we just
Mommy.
can't accept.
Joe wouldn't hurt us. He's our guardian angel.
I'm the spawn of Satan.
I love butterflies.
Well, okay then. Then we cut back to the pastor again for a few seconds. Professor Radisson is making me sign this piece of paper. Now who is this? Oh, is that the nurse from earlier? Jeez, she's a main character too?
He's back.
And this is the guy on the bridge, I believe. Okay, I'm really trying to get it here.
Why did you color something?
Why didn't you color something?
Deployment's over. I'm a nasty civilian again.
You're a Nazi civilian?
I don't want to wake the boys.
There's a lot of going through front doors in this movie.
Pretty basic, really. Bathroom, bedroom, kitchen.
Dungeon.
You sure your friend's gonna be able to take you in?
He's always there for me.
With a capital H. What about your sheets? You're not gonna change your sheets? That's pretty gross. All right, let's steal his stuff. Oh, he lied. He doesn't have any friends. All right, best actor in the film. Come on, Sean Astin, show us what you got.
I'm gonna ask you a simple question. If you wanna go home, you say yes or nod your head. You understand?
Wow, that was a simple question.
Last night, you ingested a previously known allergen. Was that an accident?
Yes.
Okay, then you're free to go. Be a little bit more careful next time, unless you want to see your name on a death certificate.
How could she see if she's dead? And he's done. It's like the writers were like, let's just make Sean Astin's character the type of person who seems like he's always in a hurry to be somewhere more important. Then it'll feel more true to life.
Didn't you guys call my dad? We tried, but we couldn't get a hold of him. Is there anyone else?
Then narrator pastor jumps in to let us know that we've finally met everyone.
There we were. A dozen different souls.
Good, because I totally forgot to keep count.
All moving in
with each other.
Different directions. And now you know
the rest of the story.
Any of us did a few days ago, before the cross made its presence felt.
Of course, you'll learn all about this by the end of the film, but figured I'd tell you about it right now. Now we learn that it's time for the gangsters to go do one last job. But Pretty Boy isn't too keen on the idea.
We take Nefarious out, it's a whole new world.
A new fantastic point of view.
Everything changes for us.
Who's Russ?
You with me?
Who's Whitney?
Live together, die together.
That's the title of my upcoming rap album.
Live together, die together.
Let's do this.
Let's hug.
Ready to do this?
No, we already hugged in the house. Juxtaposed with the gangster mission, we see everyone else in the film seated for the pastor's Sunday evening service? Okay, guys, the music is indicating that this is an important part.
I want to ask you a question that was asked of me. It affected me so deeply, so profoundly. It could only have come from the Holy Spirit.
Or the screenwriter, who also wrote these lines.
Do you believe?
Hey, that's the name of the movie.
Had caused me to revisit the true meaning
of Christmas.
Of the cross.
Oh.
True biblical belief requires action. So if you truly believe that Christ died so that we may live, it should not only bring you to your knees, but also bring you to your feet.
But also make you lie down for a little bit.
Cross is a gift. And it was paid for with blood.
Whoa!
Come on, Kay.
Oh, is he taking pictures in there?
Go, man, go!
Whoa, the big chase scene.
The cross of Jesus Christ promises to love you, forgive you, to give you a new life. Right now.
Wait, why did this sermon turn into a gospel message? Wasn't it originally about showing faith through action?
Oh, he's saving a seat up there for you.
Nice, Dan.
Are you sure? I've been where you're going.
That's harboring a fugitive. I don't think you can just do that.
You come to the cross by way of repentance. Now maybe there's somebody out here tonight, somebody who desperately...
I feel like, and maybe I don't know the rules, but if police officers came into a church, wouldn't the pastor stop and say, hey, what's the problem, officers? Anything I can do to help? Maybe there's some sort of like freedom of religion sort of thing where police can't shut down a service that I don't know about. I tried to look it up, couldn't find anything. So while Pretty Boy hides in the congregation, he starts to feel like the preacher is preaching directly to him. Probably because he is. I mean, pastor can probably put two and two together in this one.
Somebody who's lost, somebody who wants to be saved.
Take out your cross, because this is not just a symbol.
It's not?
It is not just an ideal. It is the way. It is the truth.
Wait, that little cross is the way?
And if you believe it's the truth,
I thought Jesus was the way.
Take up your cross
and purchase it in your local Christian bookstore. The rapture happened. I guess he didn't believe fast enough. All right, so then we jump into an emergency now in progress, where we see our paramedic friend that we saw at the beginning of the film trying to help a dying man out. Then, inspired by the "Do you believe" sermon that we heard in the previous scene, decides to lead the dying man in the sinner's prayer. Okay, so this movie kind of just assumes that you think that this is an okay thing to do. And then others would say it's not. I tend to be in the camp of, like, whenever you're sharing your faith, look at it very similar to sharing your favorite restaurant. So obviously, you have to look at the situation. Honestly, if someone wants to pray with you and you're a Christian, then geez, pray with them. If not, then don't. It's not your fault if someone doesn't believe what you believe. In this situation, the guy says,
"What's gonna happen to me?"
And so the guy answers,
"Do you believe in God, Ron? He loves you, he knows you, and he suffered and died on the cross so we could be forgiven.
And rose from the dead. That's a key part. Great, fine. But it's a sensitive thing because not everybody wants to hear about it. So the problem here isn't him praying with the guy, it's him giving him that cross. What are you doing? You see, and also the guy's wife shows up and finds it, and she gets mad.
What is this?
A cross for ants? If you're a Christian, you gotta be careful of that sort of thing, because not everybody wants to hear about your faith. Anyway, cut back to the homeless girl. She's way too pretty to be stuck out on the street. Seriously, I mean, she could get a job, maybe as an actress, in a cheap Christian film.
Is anyone hungry?
For my germ food?
Oh, an angel.
I made it as a reminder that the angels are always watching over us.
Meanwhile, we get to see a plethora of evidence of the old people's daughter's death.
Kathleen is gone. She's not away at college or working in Minneapolis.
Look, Discount Martin Sheen, I'm not in the mood.
This is my daughter's room. All I have left.
This is not a room, sweetheart. It's a museum.
What is this, like The Killing? Or am I watching The Killing, the Netflix original series?
Terry, the world didn't end when she died.
Here's something fun. A little message from the filmmakers about how God actually is.
Where was God the night we lost Kathleen?
He was asking that man not to take another drink, begging that bartender not to serve it to him. He was hoping he'd call a cab, go home with a friend, anything but get behind that wheel.
God really has no control over anything, does he? Poor God. Everybody's just so much more powerful than him.
Why are you doing this, JD? Why now?
Because the cameras are on.
Well, it's time for us to act.
Ugh, jeez. Everyone is so sad in this movie. It's really bumming me out.
And every time it rains, they sleep wet. And every time it's cold, they sleep cold.
And every time a bell rings, an angel earns his wings. Look, hey, movie, just because something is sad doesn't mean it's relatable. Sadness doesn't equal character development any more than bumper stickers do.
We should go.
You know, you really don't have to go.
Thanks, Joe.
Are they rhyming on purpose? You really think you're gonna get very far carrying her like that? You're not gonna get a block, I promise. How do people in movies know that they need to put a white handkerchief on their mouth when they're about to cough blood? Of course, that's not a handkerchief, it's just a white dish rag. Gross.
Well,
Wow, you know, these really sad scenes kind of enhance the fact that I don't care about these characters. I mean, this is a really sad moment. I don't care. You know that song Christmas Shoes that plays every Christmas even though everybody hates it? You know why? Because it's fake. I mean, it's just a made-up story engineered by some record company for the intention of making you cry. I love this song because I have an emotional connection to it. That's this movie. This movie is the Christmas Shoes of movies. What? Oh, they made that into a movie? Great, now people are gonna want me to review that. So we cut back to The Hobbit, where he's having a meal with his wife, but then his meal's ruined when he sees someone praying.
Why can't you just go to dinner anymore without being proselytized? Jesus was a carpenter, not a chef. If you want to thank someone for your food, here's the kitchen staff.
Oh my gosh. Now we know that Samwise Gamgee is a bad guy. You see, because they created a world where anybody who isn't a Christian is bad. Here's a caricature of what we think non-Christians are like. Hey, Christians out there, other humans who believe differently than you aren't your enemy. So stop treating them that way. So the next day, I assume, our EMT friend, seriously, I can't for the life of me remember what his name is, Bobby, let's say. He finds out he's in trouble with his boss.
The widow was looking to file a complaint against the department. She'll claim you implicitly threatened to withhold necessary care from a dying man unless he accepted your religious beliefs. You're going to craft a carefully worded apology.
I can't do that. Because I'm not sorry for what I did, and it's my obligation as a Christian. But not before my professional duties as an EMT were complete.
If you can't find your way to apologize, then your union is going to have to distance itself from you.
So I have it on good authority. This sort of thing does happen. Grief is a very real thing, and so for lawsuits to come from the family members of victims of tragic accidents directed towards rescue workers in those departments is very likely. But these lawsuits are for any number of reasons. This film seems to imply that this is some sort of religious persecution, but it's not. And to say it is draws attention away from a very real risk that rescue workers face every day. And personally, I think it's rather disrespectful. Then, Pretty Boy realizes he's in trouble too. Oh, and our soldier friend has decided that he's going to jump off the bridge again, based on a situation that happened earlier in the film that I decided to cut out because this movie is too freaking long. All right, this is a pretty neat idea for a scene. In the background, you can see that the girl who was in the hospital is also thinking of jumping.
Hey, you okay? For some reason I expect a little more privacy.
Yeah, me too.
You want to grab a cup of coffee?
Sure.
Maybe in a different movie, however. I mean, think about it. If you had a movie that was like a quirky, dark, romantic comedy, and maybe like a third of the way through, they both decide that, I don't want to live anymore, and then they both are gonna jump off a bridge, and then they bump into each other like this, I think that would be an intriguing film. Oh, like Silver Linings Playbook. Oh my gosh, they're just trying to force a storyline like that, which I don't mind, except why not make the whole movie about that? I just hope all this ripping off Best Picture winners leads to Willie Ames starring in a Birdman-style film in the next few years.
My sister gave me this. Her husband got saved a couple years back.
Does every single salvation in these films have to be as a result of someone being at the end of their rope? Like, I know that happens, but that's kind of a bad argument for your faith. Hi there! Are you at the end of your rope? Are you emotionally weak? Well, that's the perfect and really only time that you'll choose Christ. So then they spend the day together. Cute. Then we jump over to the pastor's wife who feels pretty guilty, as well she should, for having put that pregnant girl up in that dirty hotel, so she decides to go get her.
I'm Grace.
My name is ironic. Meanwhile, Pretty Boy, look, there he is right behind her, trying to figure out what to do with the money that they got from the drug dealer's house that they crashed the other night.
Bring it to me. Nah, I can't do that, big bro.
But this makes his brother pretty mad.
What you mean not right? Right now? Right has nothing to do with it, brother. Don't make me come looking for you.
My stepmom took me to what I thought was going to be my first appointment. They were looking to get rid of the baby.
Dun dun dun. Do they have to shoehorn every single issue into these movies? What? Why does she always have to pick her up? That's so impractical. Salvation Army product placement.
Is this your first time volunteering?
Yes, it is.
And the last.
Just keep serving, sweetheart.
Then we cut over to Sean Astin, who is, again, having a meal with his wife, who turns out to be the lawyer of the wife of the man who died after the paramedic led him in that prayer and gave him that cross.
Not quite your style.
It is when the victim is forcibly converted to Christianity while he's trapped dying.
Forcibly?
Meanwhile, his wife is restrained out of earshot by the police.
But it still kind of seems like her word against his.
Why is he the rational
best part,
one here all of a
these
sudden?
Christian types, you swear them in, they put their hand on the Bible, they actually tell the truth.
Well, for somebody who's so confident that the paramedic's lying, she sure has a lot of faith in the fact that he'll tell the truth at the perfect moment.
Can I ask why you haven't had children? I can't.
She could adopt her baby. Perfect. Almost too perfect.
There's this really long, boring explanation.
It's called this movie. Meanwhile, the old man is convicted at the thought that the homeless lady and her daughter will be spending the night sleeping in their car in the rain. So he decides to go get them.
Mommy.
Why are you wearing so much makeup right now?
Samantha, well, I'd like to offer you a place to stay out of the weather.
It's my car. It's a sedan.
Your daughter, she mentioned you slept out here sometimes, and with the rain, I knew the shelter...
Is this really the time and place for this conversation?
Just because we're on the street doesn't mean that I'm a bad mother.
That thought never crossed my mind.
It crossed mine, but I'm just a terrible person.
Look, a dollhouse!
Lily, I put fresh linens on the bed.
Good. Glad somebody did.
This was our little girl's room.
My wife will literally freak out if your daughter breaks a single thing. Just keep that in mind.
I called him Grandma and Grandpa.
You can't just go around calling all old people grandpa. The next day, Pretty Boy decides he's gonna do something else with the money.
When I heard you talk that night, it's like I knew you was talking to me, even though you didn't know you were talking to me.
Oh, I knew. I saw the two police officers and you come in. I put it all together.
Lord, this ain't mine no more. I want this back to help people.
A perfect example of doing more harm than good.
I can't take that.
Man, this is a bag full of money. What's wrong with you?
Hey, take it easy. Hey! Take it easy! Take it easy. Take it easy.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe you would take it and then give it away.
Word. All right, what do we got?
Then we find that Joe has found himself in the hospital.
Any conditions I should know about?
Leukemia. Stage 4.
Of course.
Send him to your oncologist.
Statesville Correctional Center.
Oh, he's a...
Convict.
So I assume that means you're on compassion leave? What kind of treatment have you been getting since you were released?
Mostly praying.
Yeah, but what about
I
treatment?
did come in the other night, but I didn't get treated, so I ended up sleeping outdoors.
Smart.
So, lay down.
Here, eat this lamnus bread.
Well, your little camping adventure probably shaved your time from a few weeks down to a couple of days.
It was worth it.
It was the good kind of suicide.
You, Samantha?
Yes?
This is for you and your little girl from Joe. You don't know? Joe's dying.
To see you.
Can you take me there?
Sure.
Just then, the pastor gets an unexpected phone call.
Doesn't that mean that she's having the baby? Okay, all right,
Oh, no.
I gotta go.
I just pooped my pants.
I'll get there as soon as I can.
Right now, you need to be worried about your future, my money, and your money.
It's right here.
Now, what would Jesus think?
WWJT.
Are you trying to take my money?
I think he would know I didn't want it in the first place.
So you believe in Jesus?
The question that every gun-wielding maniac asks.
Pray for me, Pastor.
You're gonna need it. I can't do it, man. Ugh. Good luck telling the sketch artist about me.
Oh, thank God.
I better go change my pants.
Bobby Wilson, right? I'm the attorney for Lauren Carson. Can I ask you a question?
Anything I can do to stop you?
Probably, yeah.
I'm gonna take you for everything you own, and you're still gonna go through with it.
Yes.
Why?
I was once asked if you were ever accused of being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? But if what I did has suddenly become a crime, then I'm proud to plead guilty.
Why is he saying this to the prosecutor?
It's about stopping people like you from pushing their beliefs on others.
Ah, yes, the ongoing vendetta that every non-believer
There's one
has
thing
towards
that you should know.
Christians.
If you don't, this cross, it's gonna cost you.
Only $1.99 at your local Christian bookstore. Why doesn't he just say, hey, I won't hand out crosses anymore? 5 hours later.
Told ya.
A long time ago, I had a little girl. She was about Lily's age.
Did everyone have a little girl that died? This is so depressing.
By the time I got back, she was all grown up.
Oh, she didn't die.
With a life of her own.
Yay. And then Pretty Boy's storyline comes to a head.
Prodigal son returned.
A biblical reference?
So, you got my money? I went and got it myself.
What about Pastor Matt? Did you touch him?
Oh.
He's still vertical.
Ew.
Live together, die together.
In stores this fall.
And now, you gonna go steal from me?
Bonga.
Did you forget about me?
No, man.
Then he dies.
Percy, wake up.
Then the guy is running away with the body, and he runs out into the street. Meanwhile, the pregnant girl is being rushed to the hospital while in labor. Also, at the same time, the old couple is taking the little girl to the hospital to see Joe. Then, all of a sudden, it's raining for some reason, when clearly it wasn't a few seconds ago. See? Also, the lawyer lady is texting while driving. Then, all of a sudden, the guy who took the money is now chasing this guy, even though he was chasing the guy who took the money before. Then he shoots him, which causes this. Which leads to this. Oh, which leads to this.
You guys okay?
Then this. Oh.
Watch out, Jake.
But the old people and little girl are okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Or are they? No. And then this police officer spills coffee in his lap, just as this log comes loose from this truck. Oh wait, no, that part's from Final Destination 2. Spider-Man. Meanwhile, the pregnant girl is about to give birth.
There's no time to get to the hospital. This baby is coming.
It's okay, I'm a pastor. I didn't want to have a water birth. Then the Hispanic war veteran pulls up just in time to go lend a hand. And then our paramedic hero pulls up just in time to, of course, save the lawyer.
Come on, we gotta get Giant. Wake up! Wake up!
No!
Yes, I'm telling
Christian.
That's on me! Stop moving! No!
Christian.
Hurt you! Come on, we gotta get Giant. Wake up! Wake up! Come on.
While the pastor continues to deliver a baby in the backseat of that car. Then, just in time, then they get Lily out of the car. But what about the old people?
No, you're finished here, son. My leg is broken.
Gonna have to put me down.
You lost a lot of blood.
Oh, no.
Remember how you said you wanted to be there?
Oh my gosh.
When your child was born?
Come on.
I think you just were.
No way.
Then she dies. Oh, and the old man gets out too. Then we cut back to Joe. Well, this guy dying seems like a birthday party compared to what we just saw. There's a European phone going off. Then we cut back to a precipitation-free bridge.
Why did you save me?
Well, it's kind of what anybody would do. Plus, I'm a rescue worker.
Love your enemies.
Oh, you do your job because you're a Christian?
Thank you, Bobby.
Now I'll be a Christian.
I'll be praying for you, Andrea.
But she's just a lawyer. What about the wife of the guy who died? Doesn't matter. Let's see what Samwise Gamgee's up to.
Cause of death, unidentified staphylococcus septicemia.
And being a Christian. But then, miracle of miracles. Yes, it's true. This movie fake brings a guy back to life. It's magic.
There's something you need to see.
I don't understand. He's been dead for what, 8 minutes?
What kind of elvish magic is this? This is a bigger miracle than that time I played for Notre Dame.
I want an accurate identification of what this infection is.
Yes, doctor.
You're not gonna find anything.
It's a miracle.
This happens all the time.
There's no such thing as miracles.
Let's not bring science into this.
Do you have a better theory?
Yeah, probably.
And you don't want to believe in miracles?
Guess I'm not that good of a doctor after all.
You might want to reconsider.
I don't like this cross thing as some sort of relic of faith. You really don't have to believe that this was a miracle to believe in God. Sean Astin was absolutely pointless in this movie. Well, I guess other than marketing the film as a Sean Astin film. Then everybody gets hugs and gets saved. And we end with this Scrubs VO.
It's like we're little children, gazing up at the backside of a tapestry that's being woven to our eyes.
I hope you got a change of pants.
But one day, we'll come around to the other side.
All right, and that
And
is...
the genius of God's handiwork will become clear.
Awesome, so then that is
At the center of it all, we'll see the cross.
Great, so...
But in that immense tapestry, we'll also see the single, unique thread, the only one of its kind in color.
Cool, so...
That our own life has added to the piece.
So that...
The one thread, without which the whole thing would somehow be incomplete.
Yeah, so that is...
Personally, I can't wait to see his masterpiece.
Great. And then we end, of course, as you would expect, with a Newsboys song.
So, let our faith...
Because apparently they've sold their soul to Pureflix. So that was Do You Believe? And what can I say about this movie? So at the beginning of this review, I compared the film to Crash, mainly because it completely rips off Crash. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with drawing inspiration or following a similar storyline, or even using similar scenes that have worked in films in the past. I mean, most movies are just an adaptation or retelling of a story. I mean, look at me, I'm just ripping off Nostalgia Critic, who is just kind of ripping off Mystery Science Theater, who was kind of ripping off Mad Movies, who was ripping off Woody Allen's What's Up Tiger Lily, who I'm sure was ripping off somebody else. But unfortunately, this movie rips off all the bad parts of that movie. It's going to be duped by this self-righteous crap. They're using you for your money, and they're getting it. The movie had a $2.5 million budget. Pretty cheap whenever you consider that their previous film, God's Not Dead, made $64 million. Crash, the movie that I keep talking about, had a $6.5 million budget. Despite its flaws, it was far more than 3 times better than this. Nobody was upset that it got nominated for an Academy Award, just that it won. There's no reason for a movie like this with this budget to be this bad. Unless, of course, they know that they're gonna make money off of it. And as long as you continue to support Christian movies that aren't as good as other movies, they will keep making them. Well, I'm not gonna continue to support them. That's why I'm Kevin, holding Christian movies up to the same standard as other films. Good night. Thanks so much for joining me on this movie night. It's been a blast. Really fun to watch that movie with you guys. Hey, big thank you to Brendan Neely. He is one of the people who gives my Patreon at patreon.com/SayGoodnightKev. You guys can give there too, and it's what makes this show possible. My next episode is going to be the film Beyond the Mask, which should be out in 3 weeks. It was gonna be 2, but I got called on a business trip for my job, which takes precedent over my silly YouTube channel. So, it will be 3 weeks is the goal, and in the meantime, you can check out my other channel, MovieFacts, youtube.com/MovieFacts. Super simple to find, really fun stuff going on over there, and I try to come out with an episode of that once a week. That's about all I gotta say. Talk to you guys later.
Why don't you color something?
I love butterflies.